Freedom, everybody.
Freedom.
Hey, you love my hat? I got this hat at the doctor's thing in Whitby.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, when Dr. Trozy was there and Dr. Peter McCullough and Regina, what's her name? I bought her book, Fistman's Fraud.
Yes.
Regina Wattiel. It's right there.
Yeah, if you're not aware of it,
I'm going to get that book.
get that book.
Get that book.
The reason why that book's important is the author, she has a doctorate in statistics. As what else? Mathematics as well?
I don't know. PhD in statistics.
In statistics,
it says.
yeah.
I don't
So
know.
I
She
was
may
right.
know other
So-
stuff.
I don't know if many of you know that basically what she did to prove against all the mandates and against all the numbers that they were showing is she actually used published numbers from the government of Ontario to show that it was completely the opposite of what Ottawa was showing. And the reason why it's called Fishman is basically, in our last Black Flag we talked about autocrats. Well, this guy's a bureaucrat and he was given power by Justin. And he basically, all the COVID deaths and numbers is he went like this. He reversed them, and that's what they're basing things on. So it's complete false.
Maybe
lie.
we'll do another show at some point,
But,
just
yeah.
all about this book, because I've got to read this still. So Regina was at that event in Whitby that you and I attended, and several hundred others, and it was really eye-opening for me, because I hadn't read this book. We know our friend Brian loves this book. And but I'd not read it, and I hadn't read it yet. But she did her presentation, and I was just like, "Wow, this is something else." And she brought up that guy in Ferguson in UK that was the first guy that gave this prediction that if things went this way, we'd have millions and millions of deaths, and he was proven to be wrong, and like just such a mess. Got my veil-eyed. So I'd like to read this book, and then maybe we can do another Fistman Fraud show about that, because I think that's incredibly interesting, but incredibly important for people to know what the heck went on. I also bought, I haven't read this either, I bought them, oops, I don't want to break that thing. This is Dr. Peter McCullough's book.
This is the new one.
And I bought that, and I've yet to read it. But I will. And so we're doing this show really just to kind of chit chat a little bit.
Yeah, it's just a catch all over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, a little catch up. So you can see I'm wearing my now #SelloutSing shirt that my friend and Patriot made for me, and made a few of them. And so again, if you want one, let me know, and we'll see if we can get you one. Or make your own, whatever, use a magic marker. Like, we just really want to get the message out. But I like this, and I've worn this out in public. I wore it, today.
Yeah.
And I was just walking down the street, and this guy in the car comes by, and I'm, he's at the red light, and I'm crossing, and he's just looking at me like, yay. So we're kind of giving our thumbs up. And so I've said this before, that, when we're in the mood to, and we wear our messages, we will get conversations, good, bad, or indifferent. We likely will, or we'll just get people like just seeing it. So it's important. So Ottawa. So we went to Ottawa for the beginning of the fall session of the House of Commons.
Opening of the House of Commons.
The opening of the fall session, and there was a few of us there.
Actually, it was a decent number.
I think it was a pretty decent number. There was lots of flags and chalk and signs and yelling and like, no traitors going into this house. And I think that we I think we affected them. I do.
Yeah, we did. They weren't expecting us there to be as forceful as I'm not even going to say forceful. As loud as many of us of being there. But we illustrated just how lunatic that government is. Like what's happening. It's just they go into the basically the question period, and it's just like kindergarten, and they come out and they're just like kindergarten. Oh, don't talk to me. Well, unfortunately, you decided to go into politics, and being a politician, you were supposed to listen to the people. So then I had one conversation with the green guy in Kitchener, and he goes, "Oh, well, if you're not in my writing, I don't talk to you." And I go, "Excuse me?" I go, "You're voting on bills that affect the whole country, so you talk to
This
all
is
of
something
us."
I want to talk to some member of parliament, like
Yeah.
directly. Like,
Yeah.
I have actually. I've spoken to somebody about that, and they, a conservative member, and he did talk to me about that. But I think this is something we need to raise, louder because. This happened a few times. Oh,
Yeah.
are you one of my
Oh
constituents?
yeah, no. The reason why I brought it up is I know they've told other people that too.
Yeah.
And this is the whole thing. So they've made themselves appointed rulers. So in their mind, and you can tell by the way they behave, whether they know it or not, they are a ruler. So they're ruling over us. That's right. But no. They're an elected bureaucrat is really what they are. They work.
They're civil servants.
They work for
They're
us.
servants to
They're,
us.
they're not rulers at all. And this is
Yeah.
what they have. And they have no pragmatism about them either. Right? No pragmatism.
But this is their way out. They say,
Of course.
"Well, you're not my constituent, so I don't need to talk to you."
Yeah.
But they're making laws, federal laws that affect every single one of us
Sure.
across the entire country.
Yeah.
So they do have a responsibility to speak to us. And again, I want to speak to some other members to say, "Hey, this is what they're saying." And when Beverly was talking to Jagmeet, and you can see that on DC Media, I think Right Blend has put it out, and Canadian Free Living.
I've spread it over.
It's out there. And Beverly confronts Jagmeet just at the outside of Parliament, and it's hard to hear this, but he asks her where was she during this time, and she says Calgary. And he's trying to throw the blame onto the premier. Was it Jason Kenney? Oh, yeah. So it's the premier's fault. This happened a number of times. Oh, where are you? What province? Oh, that's Doug Ford's problem. Just a minute here. These were federal. The provinces did what the provinces did, of course. But do you think that Trudeau's saying you won't, federally, you're not allowed on a train or a plane, federally, you cannot do these things this doesn't affect us?
Mm-hmm.
So Bev's saying, well, I couldn't even take my sons that were, troubled and take them to Mexico for help or somewhere else.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed on a train or a plane or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they're just trying to get, shuffle off the responsibility either to the your riding or your provincial.
Of course, yeah.
So this has got to stop.
It's got to stop. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Plus, a lot of them are just blatant outright lying. I mean, calling us right wing extremists and everything.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of that.
I go.
I'm probably one of the more moderate people on the planet.
And this is how we've done. We're feeding homeless. Other groups are doing that. Not just our group. The guys in London are great. We're doing that. We're talking to people. We've even gone into Liberal MPs' offices, which was funny because that Liberal MP, Kamal Kaur, was talking about us right-wing extremists. Well, we were in your office 3 weeks ago with a lady that's newly homeless, working, but she can't afford her mortgage, so she's ended up homeless and in a shelter. So that's us right-wing extremists. So hopefully that gets the Kamal Kaur.
Guess what?
Yeah. So, there's a spreading as much disinformation as much as possible.
So now Sellout Singh. So we approached Sellout Singh. We approached Jagmeet Singh a couple of times while in Ottawa. The first time, I guess, sort of officially, that many of you saw that a few of us were up on the hill by the bathrooms and saw Jagmeet, and I approached him. You can, on some of the videos, you can see me from behind, whether you know that's me or not. And I'm just talking to him very close. I'm like one of the photographs. It almost looks like we're holding hands. We're that close. And I'm just talking to him, and I ask him, "How do you feel about being called Sellout Singh?" and he says, I think you have that on too.
I have that on
Okay.
mine too. You can
All right,
check
so-
mine out. Mine
yeah.
is up there. I had it from that point. Too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
you could hear
then,
it.
so I don't know. I haven't seen that, so I don't know how well you can hear me. And I say I say, how do you feel about being called Out Singh? He is something like, oh, that's not true. And I say, well, it seems like it's true. And he kind of not yells, but he's angry. And he says, that's not true. And he walks away, and I walk away, and I go into the bathroom. And at that point, you ask him about whether he will vote non-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't answer you. Then, another person calls him corrupt bastard. Sorry, you kind of are. Look up the words. Corrupt means, you're willing to sell out. You're willing to, go do something for your own personal gain.
Sure. So he supported the Liberals, which is corrupt. He's also helped the Liberals shut down how many inquiries and committee meetings?
Oh God, all the
The
time.
NDP shuts them all down all the time, so we never end up leading the truth. That's all those Liberals. All those Liberals that are called upon. You see Larry Brock. You see Michael Cooper. You
Garnett,
see
Michael
Garnett.
Barrett,
They're
all of
Michael
them.
Barrett. They're all having these, and they all get to a certain stage where there was a witness, and the Liberals and the NDP say, "Okay, we're closing the committee." So you, by supporting that's corrupt. And the other reason why he's corrupt is he's talking about saving people on groceries, but he's only attacking Loblaws, if you realize that.
Right.
Why is he only attacking Loblaws? Do you know why?
Well, I know he's not going to attack Metro because his brother and
Exactly. His
of
brother.
that.
His
Like,
brother.
It's so obvious. We all know.
His
that.
brother is a lobbyist.
Yeah.
So there we go. So
Yeah, we all know that he's corrupt
of
in
course
this
he is.
way,
That's
and that
right.
he's selling out.
yeah.
Whether you call that corrupt or not, I guess that would be up for debate. But I don't think selling out is up for debate at all.
No, of course.
Not whatsoever. So, you ask him the question, will you be, voting non-confidence? He doesn't answer. So he's called corrupt bastard. Now, the meaning of bastard, we know the sort of old-fashioned meaning of it being, a child of an unmarried woman. Okay, that's not what was referred to. But the word bastard actually means despicable.
Mm-hmm.
So being corrupt and despicable is kind of go together, don't you think?
Of course.
And he gets all, he was already angry with me.
I think he was even angry before you, because
I
I
think
walked
he
up.
was.
I don't
How
know
could he
if
not be?
Well, I think even before you started him, because I was behind both of you, and I was walking up slower, and I think another photographer was behind. So I know you mentioned that to him, but I actually think somebody even outside the freedom movement was saying something to him along the fence, because he. You know how you can see how when somebody walks, how they're upset. But about the whole controversy thing, I'll also say this: he was a very tough guy, and he was a very tough guy because he actually had 8 parliamentary police protection service behind him, and one he did signal one to say, hey, something might happen, and one did have his hand on his revolver. So that's all I'm going to say about the controversy. I'll leave it at that. And then the following day, when you and Daisy and Wrightbrand got him. When he was
the next day
he was imitating the witch from Wizard
the
of
next
Oz.
day it was not Wrightbrand, it was Daisy and Canadian Free Living and me. Christine was down there, but he was on his bike.
He was still like the Wizard of Oz.
So we talked again. Daisy questioned.
Do you notice how different his personality was?
Oh yeah.
But he didn't have he didn't have those bodyguards around him, did he? So
And I'm sure he recognized, he can't come on like that,
And he mentioned it many times in Parliament that he says, oh, we're bullies. There's bullies out there. So he did want to instigate something because he wanted to use that. So I saw that right away. I knew that that's the plan.
Then we got him again, and not got him like that. We intersect him again at the bottom of the driveway coming from the House of Commons. And again, all this is out there. This is nothing new. John Wrightbrand asked him some questions. Daisy may have, but then I was able to get very close to him. You can see on the videos, and I'm saying to him, "Oh, this lady would like to talk to you about her 2 sons." And then Beverly started asking him or telling him about her sons that are now, have died, because of the lockdowns. And again, you can watch all that. It's out there. And he was he allowed her to talk, but he was also, fussing around with his bike. He could have given, a minute of just, complete, listening to her, and off he rode on his bike. Like, what did you say?
The witch from The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Actually, to be honest with you, I won't name their names, but there's only been 2 MPs that would have sat down with me and actually looked me in the eyes and listened to every word that I said. Just only 2 out of the whole lot.
I've had a few.
You've had
Yeah.
more than me. I've
Yeah.
I've only had 2.
Yeah. No,
But-
I have a
but
few
I mean-
when I'm there. Yes.
Like I said, these guys think they're rulers,
Yeah.
and they don't have to talk to us. No, unfortunately, your job is to listen.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're supposed to do. And if anyone's the bullies, they're the bullies. They've been bullying us for the last 4 years.
Bully is like
Taxes,
minor.
taxes on taxes.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of Roman emperors and Roman.
A bully, like
And senators.
emergency act.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that's the most bullying you can get.
Yeah.
But I say
Clubs and horses and-
the time that we were there in Ottawa, we did there was a few people, a fair crowd there on the Monday, the first day, and so they felt it, and to the point that it's kind of scaring them.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's ever violent. Like we
No.
have, we might say things that they don't like, but we're never violent, and we never get ever in their faces enough to be scary ever. And but then I don't know if it was by the second day, but certainly the third day in, they were they had the PPS, 2 on one side of the street and 2 on the other, and they would walk the MPs back and forth.
Yeah.
So they had their own PPS crossing guard.
Guards, yeah.
That was a little crazy.
That was a little crazy, and they did not have protective vests on, so
Yeah,
that's not good. And
that was weird.
maybe they should give them a little stop sign too.
Maybe they should.
We'll bring that.
I don't want that. So then, when Daisy and Right Blend and I were kind of doing a together. So I want to say thanks to those guys, and I think we did a good job together because I did my part in it and they did their part. But it got to a point where the PPS, at the bottom of the driveway, because that's where we were situated for a little bit, and they would warn the MPs coming down the hill that we were out there, and if they wanted to be escorted across the street, they would do it. So quite a few of them did, and you guys did a great job. I don't know exactly where it's posted, but I know it's on Right Blend's X account, and I'm sure it's Facebook, and because I'm locked out of Facebook, so I can't see what's going on there. But they did a really good job with Mark Miller, and really good job. So we were effective in that way that we were able to talk to, as media. We were able to talk to these MPs and try and get them, to say something. Basically, they said nothing. But Mark Miller kind of slipped up, and he said to Right Blend, "You don't like immigrants." Whoa, slip. This is why they have to keep their mouth shut, because things can come out of their mouth that they then have to answer to. He says, "You don't like immigrants," and Right Blend was just like, "Just a minute here. That's not true at all. And I don't appreciate you painting me in that light." So again, listen to that. Those were really good. And I say I did speak to a good handful of the Conservative members of Parliament, and they allowed me to walk with them and talk to them. And basically, I said, at this point, we really need these traitors to be named. Mm-hmm. This is why we're here at this point. We have lots of concerns, but we need these traitors to be named, and they did speak to.
Did they?
Yeah.
I've said it many times, but I said so. These MPs, all 338. So I don't know if I say this all the time. I don't know if everyone knows. So they get security briefings, all 338. Now, pending the level of clearance or what's on it, they get some sort of a security clearance. The average backbencher is going to have less information than the Minister of Defense, for example. It may or may not. Maybe it could be the same. You never know. But needless to say, so they're getting sensitive information, a brief. So if they're, and now they've been in, we've known about them. So they've been at least a year, maybe even more, compromised, right? And they've been getting these briefings. So nothing's being done. Every day that goes by, the world gets more and more dangerous. Ukrainian, potentially long-range missiles in Ukraine, everything. We have service people in Poland, we have service people in Romania, and we have some training staff in Ukraine, or possibly. What? So you're giving all that information to maybe the Chinese, the CCP. You're compromising your
Via these traders.
By these traders in there, of course they are.
Yeah.
So how, like, the whole premise doesn't make sense. The economic as well. So, you know, economic warfare as well. I mean, you know, you have sensitive issues. You have companies. These MPs are privy to certain deals the company's doing with the government. All of this information can be used to hurt the country, and the mere goal that they have to think that's okay with people in there like that is sickening.
It is sickening, and the fact that
and according to some actual war manuals, when a country spies on another country, that's technically an act of war.
Okay.
It can be configured that you can.
We're gonna have to do another show about.
I'll do all about. I'll
Like,
do something about
the military
that.
thing is very,
Yeah, that's almost
obviously very vitally important,
Yeah,
and we need
so-
to get some stuff out there about that.
So-
But going
so-
back to the traders, and which is what you are talking
Yeah.
about. But you know, Jenny Kwan, who is an NDP, she had last June or sometime, she had said she had put a motion forward. I don't know if it's a motion or not, but asking for a debate. Sorry, I don't have the exact wording of it, but she put forward that they needed to talk about this whole traders thing, because all of them are painted with this brush, and this is not right and not fair. Well, on the 25th, I believe, of September, like just 2 days ago or whatever, 24th, so like just recently, Greg Fergus got up in the House and responded to that. Yesterday? Days are going by weirdly, and said, no, we don't need to do that. It's not important enough to bring to debate into the House. Pardon me?
Yeah.
So, you know, those in the media better be doing their job and saying, come on, that's nuts.
It is nuts.
So we in the media here, or, you know, other independent media, I know Rebel News did a bit, you know, a show about it, and I hope other people are screaming from the rooftop. This is insane. How we can have traitors in the House, and it's just, oh no, it's not even worthy of a debate.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got to talk about for that.
We'll do that separately.
Yeah, another thing, mark down.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what's going on. But we just kind of wanted to bring you up, and this one, we want to update you a little bit on what happened in Ottawa, the whole sellout Singh thing up on the hill.
One quick thing to close. So where we are now. So 3 weeks ago, you remember how Jagmeet said, well, I'm not going to support the Liberals anymore. So we know now that was a complete stunt because he had his chance to do no confidence and he didn't. So why did Jagmeet Singh come out and say, listen, I'm not going to support the Liberals? Well, the reason why was that was at the rail strike. And Justin put them, basically legislate them back to work. We still don't know what this arbitrator's come up with, but it was government intervention. Workers had to go back to work. So obviously the unions weren't happy about that. So Jagmeet going, why are you supporting that? So Jagmeet, because he'll lose. The unions are NDP.
That's the whole thing.
And NDP, their money's coming from the unions, plain and simple. So that's why he did it. So it was just a facade.
Yeah.
It was just a facade, and then now he supports the Liberals there. It was just to run cover off there. But now what's even worse now is the Bloc, which is a separatist movement.
Okay, you got a new shirt.
Yeah, to separate.
Bloc.
Yeah, so now the Bloc, who had the least popular vote of all of them now that have power other than the Greens, is now dictating terms to this government now. So we go from a sellout Singh. Now we have to come up with something. Now we got separatists.
Yeah, we'll have to
separatists now dictating what's happening and how the government is going to run. So they gave terms to Justin. If you still want to stay in power,
Yeah.
You got to support these two bills, or we're pulling you in October. So, like, this is
the way our government is running.
This is banana republic. This
Yeah.
is ridiculous. This is no government at all. Like, the government is supposed to serve the people. There's no serving of the people here. They're serving their own self-interest right now. That's all that it is.
This way,
Hopefully, all these people see what's happening.
Stand up.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Because there is that what we have in terms of a government is a government, but the definition of what they're doing is not what they're supposed to be doing. There's no government here. There's just narcissists and wackos and criminals,
dictators and
criminals
and
traitors,
corrupt bastards.
all operating in their self-interest. And like the fact, so this Randy Boissonneau thing and all this corruption, and his company getting money. There's no, so he's taking the heat for it. But in the end, he's only going to get a $500 fine.
Yeah, probably.
So,
He might get voted out. He
may be, but
yeah.
But that's the punishment. So
Yeah.
to expect these people to pay when they know they just get a $500 fine and see you
Wyatt
later.
Claypool did if you don't know who Wyatt Claypool is, I'd suggest you go and look at his telegraph. I forget his thing. Anyway, you'll find it. But he did a show the other day about how Trudeau could very easily lose his own seat because of this whole bloc thing. You know what happened in Montreal? They lost the seat to the bloc. They lost what was Lametti's seat.
Yeah.
You know, they're
And
losing
Trudeau's
seat.
right
They
up on
lost their Toronto seat. They lost a huge Montreal seat, and he did a whole show. And Wyatt does a whole lot of, you know, he looks at the polls and he really looks at stuff like that statistically. And he's saying, you know, Trudeau could very well lose his own seat in Papineau. I'm like, that'd be freaking cool. You know, like it'd be even better if his own riding said no and he's out that way. That would be pretty cool. So Montreal, Papineau, do your job, man. It'd be so cool.
It would be.
It'd be really cool.
I think that's only happened twice before, where the Prime Minister
lost his
seat. I can't remember which one.
Too.
Kim Campbell was one.
Oh, Kim Campbell, she's a nutcase, man.
And what was I can't remember the other one.
Yeah.
I'll for the next one I'll remember.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Whatever the next one is, stay tuned, everybody, because I don't know, Black Flag may be doing a little more regular. We never know.
I make this point, we're going to do a little bit more regular.
We say that, but who knows?
And we've got a big trip upcoming.
Yeah, we've got a big trip.
We're going to the bridge, and then we're going somewhere else.
We're going to the bridge at the Niagara Falls Bridge, the Rainbow Bridge, I think. Rainbow
Bridge.
And there's, you know, you can find that information out. It's like to bring the borders together, Canada, US borders.
We're going to meet, so you actually don't cross the border. We're going to meet in the middle of the Rainbow Bridge, and then walk back.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. All right, so that'll be
Speeches
fun. So probably we'll do
like
some live streams from there, so keep an eye on us, because we are not only here in the studio, but mostly we're out in the street.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We're out in the street, and we do our thing. We have rallies, and we talk to MPs. We go and, you know, homeless shelters, like whatever is kind of there for us.
Yeah,
that's what
I think next week we're going to show the adverse effects on small towns.
Oh,
and
wow,
fentanyl.
Okay. Got a plan.
All of this, so that's next
Speaking
week.
of fentanyl, I don't know. Yeah, I did show you.
Yeah.
But I was coming out when I was in Ottawa, and I'm walking to the hill, and so I'm behind the Arts Center. So, you know, it's, you know, fairly prestigious area in Ottawa. And there's this guy, you know, I know he's a man because he spoke to me a very, very little. But he was all that, you know, that bend over, whatever they do, you know, when they're on
the zombies,
you know, like a zombie guy, just like folded over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God, and he had this drug paraphernalia at his feet, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, man, oh man. I just asked him, are you okay, sir? And he said yes, and I walked away, because it's really, what am I going to do about that? But this drug problem is rampant in Canada, and we know in Vancouver, in BC, it's just gone crazy because of their, you know, safe injection, and drugs are free and it's all legal, and hey, go nuts, do all your drugs. But it's, you know, happening in Toronto and Ottawa and everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And these small towns, like you say, These small towns are getting, hit.
Decimated, yeah.
Decimated, that's a good word.
So we'll look for something for that.
So we
next
got
week.
a lot to cover, but look for us this weekend. We'll probably do some live streams and show you where we are on the bridge and down, over wherever we get to. We sometimes never really know. Just don't know.
Yeah.
So, all right, freedom,
All right,
everybody.
freedom.
See you around next time. Make Canada great again. Sell it, sing, unvax, get your t-shirts, whatever. Bye, guys.